Hey, boys and girls, this is Mr. Bell, Mr. Bell's math class. Today we're going to be talking about converting between units of measure. All right, this is the last section of Module 7, so we need to go ahead and get started, finish it up so we can move on to Module 8. Our essential question, and this is what I want you to know by the end of the video today, this video, is how can you use ratios and proportions to convert measurements, okay? And not only convert measurements, but to convert between measurements, between units of measure, between the standard units that we use, like feet, yards, miles, and metric. Okay, so those are two units of measure that we're talking about. So one thing that we're going to use, and I'm going to talk about first, is going to be a unit rate. And a unit rate, if you remember from the last section, is a rate in which the second quantity, or the denominator, is 1 unit. All right. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is a conversion factor. All right, and I really like using the conversion factor. It's pretty simple and straightforward, and once you see it, hopefully you'll see what I'm talking about. But it's a ratio of 2 equivalent measurements. All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about. So our first example, let me write in red here, is going to be using a unit rate. So here's our situation. It says while lifting weights, all right, John, he's wanting to bulk up, and he's adding 11 3/5 kilograms to his bar. Okay, and about how many pounds is that? How much is he adding to his bar? Okay, and then we have the conversion factor here, or not the conversion factor, but we have a unit rate of 1 pound is the same as 0.54 kilograms. Okay, so this is what we're going to use to solve our problem. So we're going to start, and we're going to write our conversion that I just told you as a unit rate. And remember, unit rate has a second unit is 1, the denominator is 1, so I want to write it 0.454 over 1. Okay, and that's going to be the same as 11/35 over, well, we don't know what it's over yet. Okay, so we have to figure that out. Okay, so what I have been showing you how to do it is you say, okay, what do I multiply 0.454 times to get 11/35? Okay, well, I don't really know that off the top of my head, so I'm going to come over here. Whatever I multiply this by, though, whatever I multiply this number by, I'm going to multiply this by to get my bottom numbers. I'm multiplying something times 0.54 to get 11.35. Okay, so to find out what this number is that I'm going to multiply, I need to divide 11.35 by 0.54, and that'll give me my other factor. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Put up a division problem, 11.35, and that's divided by 0.454. I'm not going to bore you with all the details here, but basically we have to move, all right, the decimal out of the divisor. Remember, we can't divide by a decimal, and we have to do the same thing here. Well, there's only 2 places. I have to move it 1 more because I moved it 3 places in the divisor. So I have to add a 0. My decimal's here. I'm going to extend that a little bit and put my decimal right there. Okay, so now I want to say how many times will 454 go into 11,350? Well, I know it'll go into 1135 2 times. All right, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, okay? And then I'm going to subtract that, and I'm going to get 227. I'm going to bring down the 0, and then 454 will go into 2270 5 times. And it just so happens that it goes in evenly. All right, so let me erase this so I can get it out of the way. Where's my eraser? Here it is. All right, so I'm going to erase all this. I know it goes in 25 times, so that's the number I want to work with. All right, that's enough. All right, so I know 0.454 multiplied times 25 equals 11.35. Okay, so that means if I multiply 25 times 1, that'll give me my answer. So 25 times 1 is 25. So that means John added 25 pounds to his bar. Okay, so that was using unit rates. Now this LBS, that is the abbreviation for pounds, in case you weren't aware of that. Okay, but this is using unit rate. Okay, now we're going to use the conversion factor. We're going to use the conversion factor. Oops, I wrote on that, didn't really want to. Let me erase that. Okay, so here is the situation. It says Ren's bedroom is 12 feet long by 10 feet wide. She plans to purchase carpet for the entire room. The carpet costs $25 per square meter. All right, what will the total cost of the new carpet to the nearest cent? So that sounds like we're going to have to do some rounding. Okay, but we got two things going on here. We got the room is measured in feet, all right, 12 feet long by 12 feet wide, but the carpet that she's wanting to buy is being priced by the meter. Okay, so we're going to have to convert these two measurements into meters, and then we can use that to figure out how much it costs. Okay, so let's start by doing that. I want to use a highlighter. All right, so first thing I want to do, I have my conversion factor here of 1 foot to 0.305 meters. Okay, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to set it up as a unit rate. All right, so 0.305 over, and this is meters, so I'm going to put an M there because that's a crucial part of using the conversion factor. All right, and that's to 1 foot. Okay, and we're going to multiply that times what we're trying to find. So in this case, first I want to find 12 feet. Okay, 12 feet. All right, so what I want to do here is I'm going to cancel out my units. Okay, so that's why you always want to set. Now this happened to be a unit rate with 0.305 meters over 1 foot. It just happened to be a meter, but this one could be 12, it could be whatever. Okay, so but what you want, because basically you're going to have a fraction here, so you want to have the feet, you want to have this unit in the denominator over here and this unit in the numerator the same. Okay, and what that does is it allows you to cancel this unit and cancel this unit, so you don't have any more units except for meters. So whatever your answer is going to be, it's going to be in meters. All right, so now we just multiply straight across like we would with any other fraction. So 0.305 times 12, and then 1 times 1. Okay, so 1 times 1 is easy, that's 1. 0.35 times 12 is 3.66. Okay, and what that means is I have 12 feet, and then that equals 3.66 meters. Okay, so now I need to do the same thing for the other dimension, the 10 feet wide here. So I'm going to do the same thing for that. I'm going to say 0.305 meters over 1 foot, and I'm going to multiply that times 10 feet. Okay, and that's really going to be over, you don't have to put it over 1, but if it helps you keep everything straight, definitely do it. Okay, so I'm going to cancel the units here, feet and feet. Okay, and then I'm going to multiply straight across. Well, let me start with the 1 times 1. 1 times 1 is 1, that's easy. But in this other section here, I got 0.305 times 10. All right, we learned that if you multiply by a power of 10, when you're multiplying by a power of 10, the decimal moves one place to the right. So I don't really have to do any math with this. I just have to write 3.05. Okay, and that's how many meters it takes to cover 10 feet. Okay, I need to erase some of this. I'm going to leave these. Oops, that's not erasing. All right, let's do this because this isn't working. All right. Let me back up. Let me leave that one. Let's see if I can. There we go. Let's get rid of that. And get rid of. Nope, I don't want to get rid of that. Okay, that's close enough. All right, cool. So I have my $3.66 yards and 3.05 yards. Now I need to come up with the area of the bedroom. So I multiply. I'm on that's 3.66 times 3.05. Okay, and I'm going to come up with 11.163. I'm not going to take the time to do all the math. I know you know how to multiply those two numbers together. All right. Now it's going to end in a 0, so I counted out 4 decimal places, and then I counted 4 decimal places. Okay, so that's why I only have 3 decimal places in my answer. So the square footage for the entire room is 11.163 meters squared. Okay, now the problem up here says it costs $25 per square meter. So here's my square meters. I just have to multiply this times 25 to get my answer. Multiply times 25, and I get 279.075. And I'm sorry if it's all kind of jumbling together now. But here's the thing. It says, what will be the total cost of the new carpet to the nearest cent? Well, guess what? I can't have 3 decimal places when I'm talking about money. I can only have 2, so I have to round. I have to look at the 7 because that's the last place for money. And I say, okay, does this 5 to the right of it make me want to keep this a 7 or round it up to an 8? Okay, so I'm going to round it up to an 8. So I'm going to say $279.08. So that's how much the carpet will cost to carpet that room. All right, so that's how you find it using a conversion factor. The last thing I want to talk about, and I really haven't talked about this when we talked about units themselves, but this is maybe an easy way to remember excuse me, an easy way to remember your conversions for metrics. Okay, so if you look at it, let me kind of use my pointer here. You got kilo. These are all your prefixes: kilo, hecto, deca. These are your units here: meter, gram, and liter. And then you have your deci, your centi, and your milli, and those are all the different types of units that you have for your metric system. And Miss Lamp, and if you have her this year, you can go tell her that I'm telling you this, but this is something that she shared with me, and she said that King, and y'all may already know this, King Hector doesn't, usually, and I'm getting the U because this is my unit rate, my units right here, all right, so usually, then D is drink, and then C is chocolate, and then M is milk. Okay, so that's a quick little way to remember the order of your metric prefixes and units. So you have kilo, hecto, deca, your units, and then deci, centi, and milli. And if you're trying to go from like millimeters, let me get my pointer back out here. If you're going from millimeters up to units, okay, this box here tells you to convert from a smaller to a larger unit. You divide by 10 for each step. So basically you're going to move the decimal to the right each time that you're dividing by 10. No, I'm sorry, the left. You're going to move the decimal to the left each time that you're dividing and going up. So if I went from milliliters or anything to units, I would go 1, 2, 3 steps. So I would move my decimal 3 places to the left. And then the opposite holds true. If you're converting from a larger down to a smaller, you're going to move the decimal to the right for each step. So if I'm going from kilo all the way down to milli, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. So I would move my decimal to the right 6 places. Whatever the number is, the number doesn't change. It just, well, I guess it does change technically, but you're just moving the decimal that number of places to the right. So that's an easy little way to remember how to convert your metric systems.